So then, think of a time in your life, geniuses, where you did something great. Just for a moment, because you already know how to do this. Tell me, what were some of the qualities and characteristics of you when you did something great? You had a vision, yeah? And would you agree that you revisited that vision every day? You kept it alive in your mind, yes? What else? You were passionate, so you were inspired every day. So if your intention is your compass, then the elevated emotion is the wind in the sail. So you can use emotions to keep you anchored to the past, or you can use an elevated emotion to drive you to a new future. So then the passionate person is already experiencing the event because they believe that it's going to occur. What else? Energy. You had energy, and it was the vision that you had that was creating the energy. And your body began to respond in that future event. Would you agree? So you were vitalized by a thought. That was it. You were vitalized by a thought. What else? You had power. You were empowered by it. What else? So you have a sense of gratitude and peace because you already feel like it's going to happen. You with me? And you got into a state of being that was greater than the conditions in your environment. Would you agree? And your body relaxed into the present moment. How about this? You got your behaviors to match your intentions. You got your actions equal to your thoughts. And this is where I part from the New Age community. I have difficulty with the idea that, you're creating your wealth and you're sitting on the couch with your potato chips and you're waiting for someone to knock at the door with the big sign, you just won the sweepstakes. Listen, once you create and you move into a state of being, if you're not making choices equal to that state of being, then you doubt in your creation. Come on, are you with me? But when you are in that future and you are making choices, you are stepping into the unknown, and you're more alive in that moment than you've ever been, and you want to create because you know that if you stop, you're going to lose the magic. How many people are with me? So then you have a vision. You're revisiting that vision every day. You're coming out of your resting state with a level of inspiration and energy. You're in a state of gratitude because you've experienced it enough times that your energy has changed and your body is beginning to believe that the event has already occurred because gratitude's emotional signature means it has already happened. Are you with me? And you're aligning your behaviors with your intentions, and you're making choices to not do the same things every day. Yes? So then now I want you to think of a time in your life where you decided to do something and you didn't do it. What happened then? How about you didn't have a vision? Like you lost sight of the vision. Why did you lose sight of the vision? Oh no, it's not that. You lost sight of the vision because other people were more important. Your problems got in the way. You got busy, you got emotional. Life got in the way, and that you put your attention on your problems in your past instead of on your future every day. And the moment you got caught up in the emotions of life and the experiences in your environment, those emotions clouded your vision. Would you agree? And would you agree you never got your behaviors to match your intention? You never came out of your resting state because you didn't believe it was going to happen. And you didn't believe it was going to happen because you never selected a possibility and revisited it every day until your body began to respond to a new mind. How many people are with me? And so then what happened was you settled for mediocrity, and you settled for what you have, and you were defined by your past instead of your future. You with me still? Yeah. So then every single cell of your body is spying on your brain all the time. They are. And you're the leader. You with me? And so if I were to sit down and I were to stand up fake standing up 9 out of 10 times, and the one time that I decide to stand up, my brain has already knows when I'm going to stand up. It already knows, it's precognitive enough to know the moment I'm going to stand up, and it already knows the choice on which one of those 10 times I'm going to stand up, because the body's got to make a certain amount of adrenaline so you keep the same volume of blood going to your brain so you don't pass out. You with me? So your body is observing, it's already precognitive, and it's already paying attention to all your thoughts, and it's already preparing you before you're aware of what you're going to choose. You with me? So then, if you're sitting on the couch with the remote control, and you have your computer over there, and your smartphone over here, and your popcorn over here, and you're channel surfing, and you're checking your Facebook, and you're checking your texts, and you got all this going on, and you say, I think I'm going to change tomorrow. Now, what is your body, the precognitive body, observing? What is it knowing in that moment? What is it observing? Relax. He's lying to himself again. Nothing's going to happen. You know what I'm talking about, yes? But you remember that moment where you made a decision and the hair on the back of your neck stood up and you said, I don't care what's going on in my life or what people think, environment. I don't care how I feel, body. And I don't care how long it takes, time. I'm going to do this. And all of a sudden, you felt lifted in that moment. That decision in that moment rewrote the program. Literally in that moment, and your body responded to a new mind. And if every day you could revisit that level of energy, you are broadcasting a new signature into the quantum field. Because last night we said thoughts are the electrical charge in the quantum field, and feelings are the magnetic charge. And how you think and how you feel broadcasts an electromagnetic signature that influences every single atom in your life. So if the thought sends the signal out and the feeling draws the event back, then the moment you move into a new state of being, because a state of being is how you think and feel, that elevated state of being now is a signal in the field that says, this is what I want to experience. And so then by you revisiting that vision every single day, you leave the details up to the greater mind. Now, isn't that fun? Poke the person next to you, please. Look, this was the hardest part for me. I mean, I was raised by Italian parents. My father was an immigrant, and I was raised as a doer. And when I began to realize that the creative process is a very delicate balance between intention and surrender, that I have to get out of the way for something greater to take over. When I stopped meddling in the details and forcing the outcome, that's when the magic started happening. You with me? So then, there is a scientific study of tickling, You know that you can't be tickled if you know where you're going to be tickled and when. So allow the quantum field to tickle you. Leave the details up to it and organize it in a way that surprises you. And that surprise, then, the brain learns by mistakes, and the brain learns by surprises. So when the event surprises you and it shows up in your life in a way that you haven't thought of, that means then the field is responding to your intention. And all of a sudden, you're smiling with this big grin on your face. The event is you're in the presence of that experience. You will look back at your entire life, and you will not want to change anything because it brought you to this moment. And the moment you are in that place, that's when your past rolls up into the present. You wouldn't want to change a hair on a person's head. You wouldn't want to judge anybody. It all makes sense because it brings you to that present moment, and that's called the natural state of being. How many people are with me? Turn to the person next to you and explain. So now, how many people here understand now when I say, does your environment control your thinking, or does your thinking control your environment? How many people understand that? Yep. So then another way to say that is, does your personal reality, is your personal reality creating your personality? Or is your personality creating your personal reality? You understand the difference, yes? So then, if you walk into your life, right? And your life is made up, your external environment is made up of what? People, pets, things, the place you sleep, the place you work, the car you drive, the computer you use, the cell phone that you're addicted to, the coffee shop you visit at the same exact time. You know, that routine, organized, predictable life that you have. There's not a lot of room for the unknown to show up if you're doing the same thing as you did the day before. Would you agree? Because we would say then, as you see the same people that you have a past experience with, and you go to the same place in anticipation of the same event that creates the same emotion, that when you walk into your present past reality, it's the external environment that's causing your brain to turn on. As you see the same people and you do the same things at the exact same time, it's the external environment that's activating different circuits in your brain to cause you to think equal to everything that you know. You know, you have a few thoughts about your coworker, you have a few thoughts about the lady at the coffee shop. You know, your external environment is causing you to think equal to it. And as long as you're thinking equal to your external environment, you keep reaffirming the same personal reality. How many people understand that? Now turn to the person next to you and explain. I just got to make sure that you get this, because some of you still haven't gotten it. If your brain is a record of the past, realize this, right? Your brain presently, right now, is pretty much an encoded series of knowledge and experience that's led you up to this present moment. Would you agree? Yep. Poke the person next to you. So then, if it's a record of the past, and you're responding and reacting to your environment the same way, and the people and conditions and the places are automatically, through your senses, turning on the same circuits to produce the same level of mind every day, then it's your external environment that's reminding you of who you think you are. How many people understand that? And if it's hardwired in there, you're doing it unconsciously. And it's those thoughts that are creating the same life. And so you're thinking the same way, you're acting the same way, and you're feeling the same way, and you're wondering why God hasn't answered your prayers. So then, if your brain is a record of the past and the hardware in there is a software program, it's become a software program, then the moment you turn the program on, you're thinking in the past. How many people are with me? And because you're turning on the same circuits that are connected to your past, you're not thinking in any new ways to be able to overcome the conditions in your environment. How many people are with me? Yep. So then, we get frustrated, we get impatient, we start trying to force outcomes, we get competitive, we get greedy because we don't know how to get outside of that box. Because the brain is firing in the same sequences, the same patterns, and the same combinations every day, and it begins to hardwire into a very finite signature. And that finite signature is called your identity. That's the box of the brain. And by the time you're 35 years old, it's a limited set of resources. How many people are with me? So then, if you're not creating then, if you're not beginning to envision possibility, and you're not learning and beginning to speculate new outcomes, you're not making your brain work in any new ways. But if you're learning information and you're reading about greatness and you're understanding the quantum model of reality and you're looking at yourself and you're reviewing it over and over again, you're adding new networks of neurons that become the raw materials for you to think in new ways. How many people are with me? And as you begin to think in new ways, you begin to fire and wire new circuits, and those new circuits become the very platform of your identity, of your future. Now your brain's no longer in the past. It's in the future because you got new circuits that you can use, that you'll keep activating and growing your brain to look like the event has occurred. How many people are with me? So then, if feelings and emotions are the end product of past experiences, and you're living by the same emotions every single day, then we said last night, nothing new's happening in your life. And if your emotions are driving the same thoughts, and then those thoughts drive the same emotions, and those emotions drive the same thoughts, and emotions are the record of the past, and you're thinking equal to how you feel, and feelings have become the means of thinking, then you're thinking in the past. How many people are with me? And nothing new should happen. Would you agree? And if you keep that cycle of thinking and feeling and thinking going on, I don't know, I'll be conservative, 33 and a third years. And it becomes so familiar to you that you don't even know, like if you didn't feel guilt, you wouldn't know how to feel. Because it just feels right, it feels familiar. And the body begins to become the mind of guilt. It becomes a subconscious computer program. And once the body has memorized guilt better than the conscious mind now, the body is running the mind. And if that's 95% of who you are, then to change is to be greater than your body. Because the body has been conditioned chemically to be the mind of guilt or the mind of shame or the mind of lack or the mind of unworthiness because it has enough experiences. How many people are with me? So then the moment you start denying the body its chemical addictions, you're not complaining, you're not blaming, you're not making excuses, you're not feeling sorry for yourself, you're not talking about anybody else, you stop that. The body's going, whoa, just a little bit. Come on. I got a lot of receptor sites for this suffering thing, man. Come on. The body's sending signals back to the brain. Come on, do it, right? And that's the body-mind. How many people understand? And so then, now you're in the river of change. So then, if you're living by the same emotion every day, then your body as the unconscious mind is believing it's in the same past experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The body's believing it's in the same event all day long. How many people are with me? And because there's no new experiences that create any new emotions that are new chemical signatures from the environment, you're not signaling any new genes in any new ways, and now you're headed for your genetic destiny. How many people are still with me? Some lights are going on. So now, if you're living by the same emotions every single day and your body is believing it's in the same past experience and you condition your body to be the mind of that emotion, then your body literally is stuck in the past. And you can't create a new future holding on to the emotions of the past. How many people understand? So then now, this is all theoretical, it's all philosophical, and we can sit around and go, yeah, that's great. But some of you will leave this event and do nothing. And some of you will step into that river of change and you'll watch your body. You know, I have 20 horses and 7 stallions. And I understand that the body is the animal. And I don't ride my horses at all in the winter in the Pacific Northwest. It's rainy. I don't want to ride horses then. It's cold. But in the summer, you know, I come home, I take the month of August on, I see my stallion, I jump on him, and what do you think he's going to say the moment I jump on him? Where you been for the last year? I got a lot of habits going on. I'm doing my own thing here. There's some really hot mares up on the other side of the property. I can smell them. And he's my buddy, right? He's totally bonded to me. He's my buddy. I get on the horse. What do you think he does the moment I get on him? He runs me into the wall of the arena. Tries to run me into the wall. This is my buddy. So when I'm on that horse and I notice his ear just turn a little bit and his eye head in that direction, I grab those reins and I pull him in. And I make him stand there. And I wait. And all of a sudden, he lets this big snort out. And I know I got him. And then we take another step and he starts in a little bit and I stop him again. And I recondition him to my mind. And I do this over and over again. And sooner or later, he surrenders. And the moment he surrenders, the horse and the rider are one. The mind and the body are working together. So don't you know when you step into that river of change, your body is going to be like that unbridled stallion. It's going to get impatient. It's going to get frustrated. It's going to doubt. Why, though? Did someone do that to you? Or did you just mismanage your emotional body? It's you that did that. Would you agree? And you may tell me it's your ex-husband or it's your boss or whatever. No. It's your emotional reactions that you kept in check to reaffirm the reason why you haven't changed, because you believed in that emotion more than possibility. You with me? Yes. So then when that animal starts to buck and kick, and it starts to get impatient and frustrated, and every time you notice it doing that, you settle it back down into the present moment. You're doing exactly what I do with my stallion. You're reconditioning the body to a new mind. And the more you do it, the more it trusts you. And so when you're sick, or you're diseased, or you're out of balance, you can sit down with that body and it'll work with you instead of against you. How many people understand? Now, I am not telling you this as some inspirational speech. I'm telling you this because I've seen it on brain scan after brain scan after brain scan. I have seen people in a state of frustration and impatience. Their brain move into the wrong brainwave pattern, and they get out of balance, and all of a sudden, they turn it around. And the brain gets highly organized, gets very coherent, moves into different states. And they're overcoming themselves. And you know, I look around, I look at their face, and what do you think they're doing? They're freeing the body. They're freeing their own body from the chains of the past. The body is no longer tormented because it's no longer believing it's living in the same conditions of the past. How many people are with me? And that is greatness. That is the people that I want to hang out with. Because those are the ones that still believe in possibility even when their body is raging. And there isn't a person in this audience that doesn't have that level of commitment to do it. And finally, when the body liberates that energy and you are freed from the past, you will see possibilities you have never seen before because you're no longer looking at your life through the lens of the past. How many people are with me? Turn to the person next to you and explain. So now, how's your energy? How's your energy? Is it okay? So can I go a little further, then we'll break? Poke the person next to you, please. Actually, give him one of these. So then, one of the things that I learned over the last 10 years about myself is that the quantum model of reality says that thoughts have an effect on your life. Yes? When I stopped believing in that, I've traded that concept for some emotional addiction. Did you hear me? You know, because my life got in the way, or there's problems with staff, or, you know, they're too busy, or I'm too tired, or whatever. I trade that concept for some emotion that keeps me mediocre. Would you agree? And so all of a sudden, the moment you get caught up in that emotion, you can't see possibility. Tell me why. Because emotions are the past. You can't see the future because you're emotionally trying to see the future through the lens of the past. How many people understand that? Come on, did that land for you?
Yes.
Turn the person next to you and explain that. No frowning, just explain it. So, a few points here. You know, this happens to me all the time. You know, if I'm doing an event, you know, somewhere, like I was in Los Angeles a little ways back, and I'm getting ready to do an event in an audience like this, a little bigger than this, and I'm setting up my computer, you know, and I'm getting ready to start, and all of a sudden, here comes this lady, like, marching down the aisle, like, how come I'm not living in Santa Fe, New Mexico? And I say, because the personality who's living in Santa Fe, New Mexico looks nothing like that. True? True? So then, other people come up and they say, Dr. Joe, I need to talk to you. I'm like, what's up? Well, and I go, wait. Are you doing the work? No, you don't understand. No, I do understand. Are you doing the work? No. You see, you don't understand. No, I understand. Are you doing the work? So here's the question. Because if you were caught up in the emotions of the problems that are affecting you in your life, in your external environment, and you are analyzing your life within that emotion, an emotion is a record of the past that's driving the same circuits in your brain, will the answer be in that state of being? No. So then if you get beyond your emotional self, would you agree then all of a sudden you will see the answer to your own problem? Yes? So I always say, come on, just take the ride with me. Come on, just take the journey with me. Come on, cross the river with me. Forget that. Just come on, just keep going, keep going. Sooner or later, you'll cross the river and it'll become very evident. How many people understand? So how many of us then spend the majority of our life analyzing our problems within the emotion that we're reacting to in the conditions of our life, driving our brain further out of balance, and all of a sudden realizing that analysis is normal? But only when you get beyond the emotion, then, can you see possibility. How many people understand? Turn the person next to you and explain, and I'll stop my rant. We live in two states of mind. We either live in survival or we live in creation. Now, living in survival is living in stress. Now, stress is when your body's knocked out of homeostasis. Stress is when your body is knocked out of balance. The stress response is what your body innately does to return itself back to order. You with me? So you have three types of stresses. You have physical stress, like accidents, injuries, traumas, falls. You have chemical stress, like bacteria and viruses and blood sugar levels and heavy metals and hormones and foods and hangovers. And then you have emotional stress, right? Traffic jams, internet connections, second mortgages, single parenting, 401ks, Obamacare. Anyway, I have all these things, right? And each one of those things knocks the body out of balance, but then there's an innate mechanism to return the body back to order. Now, all organisms in nature can tolerate short-term stress. A deer is in the woods and it's being chased by a pack of coyotes. The moment the deer outruns the coyotes, 15 minutes later, it goes back to grazing. Short-term stress. Now, when the deer perceives a threat in its external environment, it has to mobilize enormous amounts of energy to begin to adapt to the conditions in its external world. So as the deer begins to mobilize all this energy, it's releasing all these chemicals through the adrenal hormones, and it's turning on a primitive nervous system called the fight or flight nervous system, or what's also called the sympathetic nervous system. You with me? So then, moment that all this energy is turned on, there's a rush of energy, and the body now is able to deal with the conditions in the environment by either fighting or running. You get the idea, yes? And so then all organisms have this built-in mechanism so that they can survive in the conditions in their external environment. Now, human beings are a little unique. And the reason we're unique is because we can begin to think about our problems. We could begin to forecast some worst-case scenario. We could bring up some memory from the past, and we can turn on the stress response just by thought alone. And when you turn on the stress response and you can't turn it off, now you're headed for disease, because no organism in nature can tolerate the effects of living in emergency mode for extended periods of time. How many people are with me? So then, if you're mobilizing all of this energy for some threat in your external environment, you only have a certain amount of energy to go around. There's no energy for your internal environment, no energy for growth and repair, no energy for long-term building projects, and the internal environment of the body begins to break down. How many people are with me? Now, think about this. It's a scientific fact that the long-term effects of the hormones of stress dysregulate and downregulate genes to create disease. You with me? And that human beings can turn on the stress response just by thought alone. i.e., your thoughts can make you sick. You with me? Now that's the ultimate mind-body connection. So the question is, if your thoughts can make you sick, is it possible that your thoughts can make you well? Turn to the person next to you and explain.